What's up? What's up, YouTube? How y'all doing? Dave E. Taylor, move over, TD Jakes. Also, man, I done heard that TD Jakes may have some more problems coming his way. Got another lawsuit coming out against him and his daughter. So y'all stay tuned for that. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Check this out, man. The FBI arrested cult leader David Taylor in $50 million church slavery scandal. Slavery? Why we gotta say that word? I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he was talking about this guy, but he couldn't remember this guy's name. And I said, oh, it's gonna come up. And then 2 days later, he sent me this video. So I'm like, okay. I don't know too much about this guy, but I watched just a little bit of the video. You know, got to check it out a little bit. So this is something new. But TD Jakes, you move over, because I know one thing. All will be exposed. That's all. I forgot what he said. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check it out.
You all look at that deposition on the internet about David Taylor. His ministry is a cult. They are liars. I'll tell them to their face they're liars. And Jesus is going to tell them to their face when they stand before him. He's going to throw them into hell. I'm telling you.
So you don't see that there's any problem when you're ministering to the poor, the sick, the needy, to be appearing in Louis Vuitton and Versace?
Well, that ain't something I purchase all the time.
No, it looks like you did several times in...
I mean, I'm a very frugal person when it comes to this. I go to the right places to get a lot of suits. And if I get some from those places, you don't see that.
I don't see Macy's.
No, you don't see that, because Macy's don't have the kind of suits that I wear.
And so y'all know I'm dressed down in my sweats and everything today. Yes, this is a Ferrari hat. And
Ferrari?
I saw it when we were in the Ferrari store. You have annuities, you have stocks, you have collectibles, valuables, gold, silver. Some of you have land. Some of you got oil wells. You may have 20 oil wells, and God said, give the ministry 5 of them. You don't have to just give in money. You need to give in possessions. Don't persecute me if you don't have it. All these people who's persecuting me said I'm a warlock and I'm teaching false doctrine are liars.
A few moments later.
Man, this dude sound like a Dr. Umar, man.
Also breaking at noon, 2 pastors now facing federal charges in a $50 million labor and money laundering scandal linked to a Houston ministry.
Religion is supposed to save souls, not bankroll real estate empires. But this one dude right here used prayer calls, fake miracles, and Jesus told me threats to build a $50 million scam machine. David E. Taylor is not a fringe preacher. He is a CEO of a cult. And now he's finally caught, and I hope he goes to prison, and I hope all those properties are taken from him. Let's break down how a so-called apostle ran a nationwide operation that looked less like a ministry and more like an organized crime syndicate. Let's get into it.
And tonight we are learning more about the nationwide FBI raids, including here in Central Florida, involving leaders of a church that appeared on televisions across the world.
Wow.
Good evening. I'm Greg Warman.
And I'm Martha Sigalski. Federal prosecutors say the leaders of the Kingdom of God Global Church used abuse tactics under the guise of religion to rake in millions of dollars. Channel 9's Nick Pampantonis was in Ocala today as FBI agents scoured just one of the many properties owned by the church.
There's more excitement around here than we've had since the wild pig.
Joseph Hildner said 5 loud booms woke this Ocala community Wednesday morning. A dozen FBI cars descending on this $2.6 million home. They did the same in North Carolina, Tampa, and 5 other properties across the U.S., arresting this man, David Taylor, the so-called apostle of the...
The so-called apostle. David Taylor. I haven't seen him in a while. You guys are going to be seeing a lot of old clips. That deposition that's on YouTube was spectacular. Total fail.
2013 and 14, JMMI spent over $30,000 in your clothes. Does that sound about right?
What year was that?
13 and 14.
Oh, God, yes, because I was traveling so much.
Man, what different? What year is that? Everybody gotta play the role. Man, what difference what year it made? You gonna say yeah anyway.
JMMI spent over $30,000 in your clothes. Does that sound about right?
What year was that?
13 and 14.
Oh God, yes, because I was traveling so much.
Oh, he's not locked up yet. He's not locked up.
All my clothes. Exactly. That probably wasn't enough because just have so.
But they have to be top of the line, expensive ones.
No, they're not top of the line clothes.
Louis Vuitton's not top of the line.
Those not where I get my suits from.
Well, you got something from them spent thousands and thousands.
Well, the belts are more lasting, so that's good.
Come on, you're buying belts for $5,000?
No, I mean multiple belts.
This guy is the OG scammer, using the Lord as a way to obtain ridiculous amounts of wealth, power, influence. You see right there, very interesting. The top of his head has the color, but it looks like he is getting gray. He is getting older, obviously. But is this a surprise? Many people have used Christianity. I would say not even just Christianity. Many people have been using religion as a way to con people, to grift. And this is the OG grifter. I thought he was done, but I guess he was still out there making that money. And things apparently just keep getting worse for him and the people that he took advantage of.
Kingdom of God Global Church.
Always restore to us the joy of your salvation.
This video post.
What? We want to check that out again.
Church.
Always restore to us the joy of your salvation.
This video posted to the church's Facebook page the night before the raid shows the emotional nature of Taylor's preaching, but agents say a system of cruelty hid behind the tears. They accused Taylor of running call centers out of these homes, unpaid staff cut off from the outside world, told to raise an unreachable amount of money in donations, and when they failed, Taylor deprived them of sleep and food.
This sounds like a
what? Please don't tell me that, man. How dare you? Did y'all hear that? That ain't cool.
Told to raise an unreachable amount of money in donations, and when they failed, Taylor deprived them of sleep and food.
This sounds like a cult. This sounds like he made a sweatshop of call center workers, forcing them to do ungodly amounts of work to get no money. Because remember, this is about the Lord. This is about getting money, resources to help the church. And he just had a sweatshop in America. This was not a foreign country. This is in America. Slave labor. Them trying to get as much donations out of people, probably people who probably can't afford to even be donating in the first place.
You understand Mrs. Frazier to be destitute. Under those circumstances, are you willing to give Mrs. Frazier back some of her money?
Concerning her present circumstance, and I would love to do that if we had the money. Presently, we don't.
And he had them sitting there, and if they didn't get the right amount of money, which they said was unattainable, they deprived them of food, shelter, and you see right here, psychological abuse, forced repentance, lack of sleep, physical assaults, and threats of divine judgment, which is probably the sickest part of everything, is if they can't raise enough money, somehow God is mad with them. That's extremely manipulative, disgusting.
Say since 2014, Taylor.
It's hard, you know what, y'all, and I gotta apologize, man. I didn't know that it was so many, for lack of a better word, weak-minded, soft people that need protection. There's a lot of people out here that's soft, that's don't know no better, don't understand, like this Dr. Umar thing. I mean, you gotta be blind. You gotta be living in a whole different world to say, here's my $2. I want to help you with your school. Here's my $2. Not even realizing that this is fate. I will not be at some $1 million house listening to somebody telling me I can't go to sleep. Fuck out of here, man. I don't mean to be cussing in your little holy house, but where's the door? I will walk home. I don't care how. That's crazy, man. This is crazy. This is sad that you don't have the strength enough to get out. You know, you oh my God.
They pocketed $50 million. A staff member at his Ocala house after the raid refusing to comment.
From bumper to bumper, just a black Suburban with opaque windows that you cannot see in or out of, and they were coming and going a lot.
They'll come to his ministry lured through promises of a free housing, free meals.
Pete Evans and Barry Bowen investigate religious fraud for the Trinity Foundation and interviewed some of Taylor's staff. They pointed to his far-flung properties and constant attempts to get his viewers to call his church, like you see here, as red flags. They say it's a well-worn playbook.
They would believe he's closer to God than they are, and he feeds on people's ignorance.
Nick is joining us live here in the studio. Nick, they also arrested the church's executive director. How much time are each of them facing?
One of them faces 8 counts. That's the executive director. One faces 10 counts. It's 20 years per count and a lot in fines, including all the properties can be taken from them. We're going to show you the scale.
20 years per count? See, I told y'all, man, I'm allergic to jail. I can't, dude. See y'all, bye. I'm going to bed. I'm going upstairs to my little bedroom. I ain't gonna turn on no TV. I turn on YouTube. I can't be going to no jail, man. Especially 20 years per each count. No way in hell.
One faces 8 counts. That's the executive director. One faces 10 counts. It's 20 years per count and a lot in fines, including all the properties can be taken from them. We're going to show you the scale of this operation here. They had...
Before it even gets that, it's not just the heat that there's people like him prey on ignorance. Yes, that's part of it. Many people are coming into religion or coming into these type of cults. They're missing something. There's a hole. There's something missing. And they think that this church, this grifter here is going to help fill that, give them a sense of identity, a sense of purpose. And the grifter, the scammer, use that void to take advantage of them, to tell them things, to make them feel good. And then once they are truly engulfed in the cult, the scammer will have supreme power over these people. And it's not going to be the entire church necessarily, but the hardcores, the people who really ride with this David Taylor individual, they're going to be the ones calling, trying to get as much money out of people as possible, putting themselves in positions where they are getting abused by this individual.
This is sad.
Staff members working in 4 different states, 2 sites here in Florida. The sermons aired on the Word Network, which is one of the largest religious channels aimed at black churchgoers. And just if you're interested, the money was spent on cars, boats, ATVs, a lot of luxury goods there.
And I'm sure,
man, just a terrible, terrible individual. And another aspect of it is going after people who don't have a lot. Black and brown communities, they are really heavy into religion. So they're more likely to be taken advantage of. They think if I pray enough, if I do enough, maybe my chances or my fortunes in life will be reversed. That I finally find my way. And scammers, fraudsters, religion is the best tool to take advantage of people. But let's get into a lot of this situation here because it is absolutely insane. So like you saw from the video is Tampa, 2025, the FBI raids this $10 million mansion in a gated community, and they find this man, David E. Taylor, Jesus' best friend, self-proclaimed apostle, and the head of the Church of God Global Church, formerly known as Joshua Media Ministries International. But they didn't just take him. They hit ministry sites across 5 states, arresting Taylor and his top deputy, Michelle Brannon, on the charges of forced labor, money laundering, and human trafficking. Yes, he's
human
basically
trafficking.
Like the feds said that Taylor built a spiritual empire on manipulation and free labor and pulling in nearly $50 million since 2014, not to build churches or maybe build a school unlike that other guy, but to bankroll luxury estates, personal chefs, private jets, and custom-made stage sets for his miracle crusades. He was walking around like he was a ball player, like he was some kind of rapper, just having tons of money. So this goofball pitches himself as a spiritual heavyweight, claiming face-to-face chats with Jesus, divine healings, and pretending that he was some kind of prophet.
God is showing me right now, there's one woman, even sitting in Taylor, you have like $75,000 in your account. And you can give half.
Dreams that always conveniently pointed towards more.
What? Please ask me for half my money. so I can have a better laugh. What? He just said half. Oh my gracious, this is scary, y'all.
Even sitting in Taylor, you have like $75,000 in your account. And you can give half.
Dreams that always conveniently pointed towards more donations. Close the doors, close the doors. His followers believed that he was a conduit to God. Some gave up their jobs, their homes, and their families to serve his so-called mission. But prosecutors say that this mission looked more like slavery. Inside these call centers, volunteers worked up to 18 hours a day soliciting donations, not for hurricane relief or Bibles for prisoners, but for ministry expansion, which somehow translated into designer wardrobes, private chefs, and properties with weird names to dodge taxes. And the people making those calls, they weren't getting paid. Many lived in ministry housing, slept on floors, and ate only when allowed. Some were even forced to fast as punishment for not hitting donation targets. Slave labor. And it wasn't just financial exploitation. Taylor used spiritual threats to keep his followers in line. According to former members, disobedience wasn't just insubordination, it was a rebellion against God. This is where it gets truly sickening that he used religion, he used God to manipulate and break these people down. Taylor would say things like, speak against the apostle and sickness will come upon you. That's not just manipulation, that's spiritual blackmail. This is a very evil man.
I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I haven't made mistakes, but I ain't made no money mistakes. I can tell you that. The only mistake my dad think I've made with money, he said, David, you do not take enough for yourself.
So how did he pull this off without getting stopped sooner? Even after that deposition.
They said one of the things is that all you got to do is say the opposite. You do not take enough for yourself. He doing the whole system around himself. Lord have mercy, man. I did not know, man.
I can tell you that. The only mistake my dad think I've made with money, he said, David, you do not take enough for yourself.
So how did he pull this off without getting stopped sooner? Even after that deposition, 10 years ago, he clearly looked like he was manipulating and deceiving people. I guess everything just looked churchy enough to continue to pass. Taylor didn't call his workers employees. He called them armor bearers. It sounds biblical, but in reality, they were just unpaid laborers answering phones and running errands. Former insiders say that they were micromanaged down to when they could sleep or speak. One ex-member described being told when to shower, what to wear, even when to cut ties with family. Taylor allegedly pushed people to abandon spouses who weren't fully on board with him. And obviously, when someone pushed back, Taylor had the whole bag of cult tricks and cult tactics: public humiliation, sleep deprivation, social isolation, and fear tactics dressed up in scripture. According to text messages shown in court, Taylor instructed staff to punish underperformers with food deprivation. Take away the food, he texts. We must make them fast and pray. That is disgusting levels of manipulation. Some workers were told that they had to raise $500 a day in donations, or else, if they didn't, they would be publicly shamed or threatened with divine punishment. One woman said that she was warned she'll get cancer if she ever left or spoke out. That's how fear becomes doctrine. Taylor turned fear into faith and obedience into worship. And the irony of all of this, the same people told to skip meals were watching Taylor eat gourmet meals, gourmet dinners prepared by his personal chef. The same folks that were giving up sleep were cleaning luxury cars that they would never ride in. He lived like royalty while his flock lived like bums, all under the banner of holiness. This sounds like Jonestown too, with better branding, and I guess hopefully no one died in this situation, but I don't know how else I can compare this. And like I said, this wasn't exactly in the shadows. 10 years ago, a deposition leaked and it's on YouTube where Taylor explained with a straight face that he spent $30,000 on clothes in 1 year because he sweats through his suits. He admitted owning a $2.8 million mansion, driving the luxury cars, all while watchdogs were giving his organization an F in transparency and the IRS was revoking its nonprofit status. But Taylor didn't stop there. His team once claimed that they had a $10 million donation from an NFL player to buy an entire shopping mall. The player denied it, the project collapsed, and Taylor sued everyone in sight, St. Louis County. Meanwhile, unpaid contractors sued him for millions for a massive stage project his ministry commissioned but never paid for. That trial in 2023, they lost again. But the money was just the surface. A former gospel singer says that Taylor seduced her with lavish gifts, fur coats, even a Jaguar, and then turned around threatening her when she tried to leave. She says he warned her that she'll get cancer if she spoke out. His ex-wife accused him of infidelity and abuse. Other ex-members said that they were told to abandon their family, surrender their paychecks, and serve around the clock or face eternal damnation. One group of men said that they were forced to drive women to Taylor for private meetings, then give them plan B afterwards. Think about this. This was extreme levels of exploitation. This man deserves to be in prison. The DOJ's 2025 indictment describes Taylor's ministry as a nationwide forced labor cult. That's exactly what it sounds like. These people need to go to jail. They need to never come out. And all their property should be sold and given back to the victims. Now he's facing multiple accounts, each carrying up to 20 years. Now, his defense team said this is spiritual warfare, but I doubt the jury's going to buy it. They're going to be reading those text messages, hearing survivor stories, and seeing those financial scripts. So, David E. Taylor, he's a piece of crap. A symptom of what happens when faith meets unchecked power. He promised intimacy with God and delivered intimidation. He sold salvation and basically delivered slavery. And he's not alone. Unfortunately, there are dozens more like him exploiting the trust, the hope, and desperation of many people. That's why this type of stories matter, because so many people out there are being taken advantage of, using religion as a way to get unchecked authority. If your pastor is living in a great house, a mansion, while you're skipping meals to give them money every week, that's not spiritual leadership. That is spiritual exploitation. But let me know what you guys think about this story in the comments below. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.
Man, it's more, he said. You got this dude, you got the Umars. Jesus, then you got the Diddies. I didn't know all this was happening, y'all. Damn, I wish if I'd have known all this was happening, I would have spoke up and did something earlier. Golly Moses, man, I cannot believe this. Look here, I'm gonna get on up out of here. Hey, y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell him Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.